Yep. So we're taking over the show.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely do that. I mean, I don't know what we would talk about because our circle of interests are
Well, I mean, we were
just
actually
between
just
me and
having
you.
a conversation. It's not
That's
like
true.
we can't
That's
just
true.
keep talking about
That's true. But yeah, it's that you're not wrong. You have a point there. But yeah, when people create things and they're like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," and then
it.
they double and triple down no matter how
Yeah.
bad it is.
I think my mother was at the food bank
Hmm.
for seniors, and they give them like just random stuff that they have, and she got a box of like Mr. Beast cookies or bars or something like
Hmm.
that. So I think it was cookies. So she didn't like them, so she gave them to my wife to have. So she
Yeah,
has them sitting in there, but I don't think we've ever really ate them.
that's fair.
But
That's
I
ours,
wouldn't go out of my way to buy any. You
right?
know what
Like
I mean?
I wouldn't buy like that's the one thing I'm like not cool with buying for like YouTubers or influencers or like here we're making this food products. Like, bro, you're not a food YouTuber. You don't spend time cooking food or dealing with food. I don't trust you on that. Let
Well, they
me.
had there was a whole thing where they were doing coffee, right? There was a bunch
Hmm.
of YouTubers and Twitch guys that were doing like their own brands of coffee and everything
Hmm.
else. It's like, I'll
Yeah,
buy your T-shirt maybe, but
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah,
right. It's like
everyone had coffee.
I don't trust you unless you're a food YouTuber to buy anything related to food from you.
Yeah.
I would rather I would gladly buy a binging with Babish knife set, but not a Markiplier knife set because I don't Markiplier's not a food guy. He wouldn't know the quality of knives like that. Like, that's my thing. It's like no matter like even if he's great creative mind and has been making his own like indie movies and stuff like that,
Hmm.
that's great. But I'm not gonna buy like steak from Markiplier because that's not his thing.
Asmongold steaks.
Mm-mm.
Maybe
You can
Asmongold trash bags.
yeah, you can taste the filthy room.
Yeah, trash bags from Asmongold. Yeah, that's mosquito repellent from Moist Critical.
About deodorant from Hassan.
Oof, oof. Man,
The closest food,
if we weren't on Twitch, I had some words.
the closest food thing I can possibly get is gamer subs, and most of that is because gamer subs are the one doing it, and they're just asking them for an idea for flavors and stuff.
Right, but that's different.
Right,
That's
exactly.
drinks. Those are just like flavored drinks. You know, they're not making formulas. It's just
Right.
flavors.
They're like, what flavor do you want for your brand of drink? I'm like, cool, that's interesting. Not, hey, I made this drink company and now we're getting sued by 4 different people, including Messi. The
Yeah.
pro soccer / football player Messi. Yeah, we're getting sued by them too.
You open up the whole circle. See? Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like there's certain products I will believe that somebody pitches to me, and that ain't one of them. I won't take financial advice. I won't take, I will buy a shirt. I'll buy
Mhm.
maybe a plushie
Yep.
if it's a quality plushie.
You got your
Anything
you
else?
got your
Nah.
Mauler, you got your Rags plushie.
the
Is that what you want for Christmas? You want a Rags plushie, Vincent?
the dog and the jack o' lantern.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you...
Hilarious. Yeah, no, like there's a limit.
I have this. That was made by Morgan from it was a Void stream. So Void, I was watching Void a bunch of years ago and hanging out with him a little bit, and
Nice.
I won a little plushie, so she made it and sent it to me.
Nice.
Yeah, the things that I will not put into my body. I am not things that will affect me financially and things I will consume. I will not get from
Yeah, I'm at an
influencers.
age now where I'm actually looking at the ingredients and saying, okay, I can't have that. I don't need that, to watch what I eat now. So yeah, I'm going to be a little more specific about that stuff.
Are you guys talking about the primals
The moldy feastables, the moldy lunchlies,
Feastables.
the lunchlies, yeah, no.
The moldies.
Yeah.
Look at the electrolytes.
As I was telling Reinhold, the Rosanna
Talking about my
Pansino
health.
was doing a video comparing Lunchables and Lunchly, and her first pizza Lunchly she pulled out had mold in the cheese. And she put up the package to the screen and showed that like the corner where the cheese was, it wasn't properly sealed all the way. Like they didn't seal it at all. But apparently that's a big thing with those. And that's what I got the discussion on. I'm not eating any food product related to a YouTuber that doesn't cook food.
Correct. Yeah. They understand like because you just see Lunchable, but no one understands like the early days of Lunchables and get all this stuff like that. Just like yeah, you just don't see the early days of this crap. But they don't care if they mass produce and ship nationwide, and it's all out there.
Right.
And their fans don't care. A lot of them just eat it up anyway. They just want it, consume. Because they've got like a lot of 13-year-olds are all their fans, and
right, and then they
for
get
some
it,
reason
and they get mold in their cheese, and they're like, "Why is there mold in this?"
Yeah, and we allow this to happen. They understand like these are their fans, so they make something easy so it can get on a food list, and then it's just, it's you just kind of print and they print money.
Mm-hmm.
It's rampant unregulated capitalism. You have to put an end to it, and
there's no problem about capitalism being regulated by the marketplace of people who actually use the market.
I don't think we want to go down this road.
What? There's no problem about regulating capitalism?
No. I have a real problem with people when they say free market because they don't understand what free market was supposed to mean, what it really means, and they think it means no regulations. And I'm like, no, that's not what free market means.
That's not what that means. That's not what it means.
Yeah, free market means it operates freely. Though, like you can't have monopolies. If you have monopolies, it doesn't operate freely. Therefore, you must have anti-monopoly. Functions regulating that, and it's like, well, you can't regulate the market. I'm like, well, do you allow fraud? Well, no, you can't defraud somebody. Well, you're regulating the market, aren't you?
Regulating
the market. Hypocrite. So just shut up.
Correct. Yeah. If I said like, if you saying like this is a plant-based Reese's, and I find out it's all got the dairy in it, you're defrauding me.
Then you can sue Disney because you signed a term. Oh, well, before we get into things.
Oh no. He's got the Disney.
No, this isn't Disney. If you have a problem with X, and you try to sue them, you sign up for remediation not remediation. What's it called?
Forced arbitration.
Arbitration, yeah. Yep. So you end up going to arbitration, and you have a specific judge you have to go to.
Oh, nice.
So what Musk has done is in the contract, in the terms of service, you have to go to this specific judge in this specific district. Now, it's a district in Texas, but it's not the district where his company is located in. It's completely different. It's a specific district that has one judge in it who happens to be a big investor into one of Elon's businesses. And you're like, well, hey, maybe that's a conflict of interest. And it's like, yeah, well, you agreed to that when you signed the terms of service. Therefore, you just you have no remediation. You have no way to do anything to X. It's just impossible.
Yeah. It's okay. It's even worse. Was like I don't know if you watched like Leto's Law, Steve Leto's Law. Up in Michigan, and the hand mint, the state up north. Well, he does a lot of things that talks about how awful RV laws are. Like, don't buy an RV unless you live in Indiana, because how awful. Because no matter where you are in the country, the terms of service means you have to have forced arbitration here in the great state of Indiana. No matter where you brought the RV, you're probably coming back here to Indiana to try to fight that case. And northern Indiana, by the way. Yeah.
Weird.
So it is like one of those things that I understand why it can be in contracts. I think it's far being abused to inside the marketplace, and if companies want to use the federal government for different protections, the federal government should be able to regulate and crack that down. Yeah, so
It's fair.
Yeah.
I
If you're
just
a
found it
federally
hilarious.
created business organization, right? It's not like you're, I'm just a sole proprietor. And no, you've got protections by being a corporation.
Correct. Yeah.
You're going to have to agree to some rules. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. You agreed to this club that offers you certain protections. If you want to be like, but I thought you for unfettered capitalism. Sweet. Get ready to, I'm going to reverse engineer everything you have and then just start reselling it. And don't you dare use that same thing for protections to protect yourself with. Because that's the only argument. It's like, I'm all for it until you were like, whoa. But anyways.
So this conversation is hilarious, and Ryan was like, "We don't want to talk about this. We have different opinions. Proceed to prove that you guys have the exact same opinion."
No, I just didn't want to get into it because
Go into
this type of show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like there's nothing coming up in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever.
No, like, because honestly, like that's why I messaged you guys for the show, because I was talking this with producer Paul. Because producer Paul, last week we went up to Conner Prairie with producer Paul, and we went to see the new exhibit that they put in place like last year, going over Indiana after the war, after slavery and the Civil War, and how Indiana started acting like the northernest, southernest state. Well, it wasn't part of the South. It didn't have slavery. It sure did freaking act like it. And I was sitting there I was going through all these things, looking at the Green Book, the sundown towns, and all this different stuff. I just kind of looked at Paul, and I was like, man, what is this like? Not even 200 years ago, and here we are again. And
no.
Mean
not
guy,
even 100 years ago.
Yeah, not even 100 years ago, and awful guy on radio won't put pronouns in and his
no, it's not that he won't. It's not that he won't put pronouns in his email. He's going to fire anybody who puts pronouns in their email that he's in charge of.
Yeah, sounds like the person that would get upset because, like, how dare you have me not be able to use the N-word in my email?
Actually,
scientifically, that's the term. That sounds like the guy.
Didn't I say that to you?
What?
What didn't we talk about that night?
No, we didn't talk about this.
No, I said something, and I said something about the.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
said, no, that's a little too spicy. You said that's too spicy. Try something else.
But after being at Conner Prairie, looking at all that, I'm like, no, not spicy enough. This is right. This is where these people are. It's like, what is going on with these people? What's wrong with you?
Because I was going to post, I deleted that post.
It was spicy, but I don't know, like,
spicy.
Yeah, but I got that thing, and I just started looking around, and like, I was one of those people that said, like, I don't know, man, maybe the Civil Rights Act wasn't necessary. We wouldn't needed this, and then I'm sitting here looking at all these how like some of these so-called like liberty Republican free loving Midwest people go like, nah, man, yeah. Civil Rights Act was definitely needed. Y'all assholes.
Well, you understand, there are people alive today who had to who were through that. I grew up in the time when Martinsville was a sundown town.
Mm-hmm.
It was no joke.
Yeah. It's yeah.
And it was the most cosmopolitan place in the area that I lived in. So you can imagine the little niche place with a small school that had 2 townships that couldn't fill a 40 person classroom in each class. We had like 300 kids in the whole school or something like that. Kindergarten through senior.
Yep.
Small area. Yeah. It's let's just say it was not very colorful there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But the language sure was.
The only thing I saw that wasn't like Dutch German for the most part was a couple of quarter Cherokee people might live there. That's about it. That's all it would be. And you couldn't be full. You have to be a little bit, because that added some exoticness into the area. That was about it.
Yeah. Anyways, hello everybody, and welcome to the exciting new episode of Low Key on the Weird Affairs Network. My name is Harry, aka the Movie Target. Oh. It's going to be an exciting episode. We're about 15 minutes in, and I decided to do the intro. Oh yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule.
Since this is the month of Halloween, I've got my nondescript, awesome Hufflepuff gear on. It's going to be great. Ooh, turn. Anyways,
Ooh, trans rights.
ooh,
So scary.
Ooh, people being who they want to be and not having to feel guilty about it.
Eagle
Ooh.
light. Ooh, manners.
The golden rule.
Ooh.
True Christianity.
Oh man. Of course, as you guys hear, like with joining with Ryle. He walks around smacking people.
Oh, I do have
You're supposed to do your intro when I
I
say
have a new shirt. I was gonna say I have another shirt on today that is on another album cover. See if you can guess it. Hey, look at that.
I'm guessing.
I'm
Eagles?
I'm guessing that it's an album that came out before
Oh, come on.
1983.
You guys cannot not know this one.
It's been,
I
It's the
I don't-
Hotel California, buddy.
yeah, I said Eagles. Yeah, I was right. Eagles.
the
Boom.
Eagles.
Boom. It's Eagles.
Hotel California.
Man, fuck the Eagles, man.
Have you seen the memes of the?
Yeah, although half of them are dead right now. Fuck them.
You see the memes of the Mean Girls with the Vikings logo because they got the Lions handing them their L.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, hilarious. Anyways, that famous lefty here is Vincent. Vincent, say hi.
And Steven.
It's Steven.
With our makeshift bullshit Halloween costumes.
Yeah, budget. Yeah. I thought about doing something else that I realized like it was just too dark in here. I was gonna do like Sasuke.
You would be unseen.
I had some electrical tape. I was like, I'm just gonna go Sasuke. Get some
Oh my god!
It's like really too dark in here.
Yeah, I can't see that.
I'm already burning up with the fucking
Yeah,
scarf. On fire.
It's fine. I have to somehow fix my sleep schedule by Wednesday, so that's gonna be fun.
It'll be fine. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
totally.
No. It's I don't know. Sorry, like I have been very triggered on the right wing awful trans train as a and I am at the point I am giving them no quarter and I'm smacking them in it just like I don't care. I don't care.
He's gonna leash me on everybody.
I'm done. I'm just done. I can't hear anymore. I'm tired. I'm at the end of my rope. I have given all the grace I could give because
Just imagine the next 4 years if the election goes a certain way in this state.
Did you see Legal Eagle's video about this is the most important election of our lifetime? And this ain't
I haven't seen it, no.
And I'm sitting there like, oh God.
I'll have to look at it because it's probably is he talking about Schedule F stuff or what?
All right, go ahead, watch it, and you calm me down before I finish watching that.
No, you may be me and you with pitchforks heading down somewhere.
Oh man,
I'm right there already, man.
Oh, man, it's it's not. The problem is like it's not bad. It's not super bad out there. Like I hate like the old like civil war rhetoric, all the other stuff, because it's just online. It's just on Twitter Space. Most people you find are you go out there, nice people out here in the Midwest. I don't want to get anyone to get that twisted. There's some amazing, nice, joyful people out there. There's just some, I want to say, unintelligent, I don't know. It's like their brains are stuck in molasses. They make no sense. The whole I don't want. I'm getting right. I don't want to rant. I'm gonna rant. No. All right, mini rant. Just
Go
tell
for
me
it.
to
Just
stop.
go. Just go.
It's like the whole I got real also upset, like we talk about like transport, like how this is dangerous, but I can sit there at several different sports league that are completely co-ed, that does volleyball, that just spiking everything, the whole 9 yards. Also, Title IX and IHSSA and the NCAA has for the last 30 plus years. If there's not a gendered team for you can play on the team that's there. There have been tons of boys that have played volleyball, or aka women's or girls volleyball, because there's no boys team. It has always been this way. So the idea of like we can't have boys is like, and then they try to push that into like for trans people who just want to be on a team and play. It's like people are having fun. If you really believe this advantage, let the sports teams, let the sports leagues develop some sort of rules around it. And they'll develop faster, easier, and make sport play, and with no need for the government. But for some reason, the Republican Party wants to rush in and get the government involved in sports leagues. And it's
not just about sports leagues. That's the point,
right?
It's their end. This is like this is the line that the left has kind of crossed enough that people are kind of against it. We can get in on that little point and then just pull it through. It's just like what Micah was doing with the school boards. Like, oh, there's some really bad books in the schools, and they showed these books, and it's like, oh, they're really bad. So let's get rid of these 2 books we think are really, really bad. It's like, well, okay, I can see where maybe those might be inappropriate for our younger kids, even though they weren't in the young kids section. They were in the adult or the high school section, but that's I'll tell you that. But they use that as an excuse to get in there, and then they're banning like 1,000, 1,500 books because they're on this list that somebody's put together. Just like I don't know if you remember back in WKRP Cincinnati. Remember that there was a great episode where the guy comes in from the moral majority and doesn't like the song that they're playing, and the guy goes, "Oh, I can agree. That's some bad language in there." It's like, oh, the next thing you know, he's going to come with the list, and then it's going to be songs that we've never even played yet. He's going to tell you not to play him, and exactly that's what happens, and he ends up having to. It's a whole thing, but that's how they've always done it, and that's how they're going to continue to do it until people recognize it and stop it. And nobody wants to learn from history. We're repeating everything that we did 100 years ago, word for word, slogan for slogan. Everything we did 100 years ago when the KKK was taking over the Democratic Party and put in the immigration laws, and we were going down the fascism road that Hitler admitted that he took from the United States and implemented in his country.
Yep, 100%. Yeah.
So that's a rant. Thank you very
much. Honestly, my question for most of this is, why do they care? And it's like, it's obvious because of power or whatever. It's like, but what's like as an individual, how does one person?
It's the poor girls. They don't have any place to. We gave them this little place over here to play because they couldn't play with the boys, because that would be unfair to let the girls play with the boys, which thought we were moving towards at some point in the last 40 years, and somehow that got derailed.
So if the person identifies as a female and can't play in the male league because they're identified as female because they're too weak, but if you put them in the female league, you say they're too strong because they're technically a man.
Yeah, even though there are women who are stronger than those trans, because that's how it works. And there's some, like the boxer that they're like, oh, she's trans. I'm like, no, she was born a woman. She come from some country that she would be dead if she was actually trans.
Yeah.
So no, she's not. But you guys just can't help.
Yeah,
there's this great thing going around where it's like, look at me, nobody could tell I'm trans, and they put a picture of like Sigourney Weaver up, and everybody's like, oh yeah, you can look at the cheekbones, blah blah blah. They don't even realize who it is, stuff like that. It's hilarious. They're so stupid.
Yeah.
From my perspective, that's how a lot of this stuff is like, why do you care? That doesn't affect you. They're doing things that don't affect you in any way, shape, and form, but you have to make it a moral quandary over something that doesn't affect your own life. And that's the thing that's why I just hate all of this rhetoric stuff. It's if a person wants to transition, cool, good for you. That doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, and form.
Yep.
So why should I prevent you from doing what you want to do for your life?
Exactly.
Who cares? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah. And they want to bring up like the bathrooms. Like, what the f are you doing in the bathrooms? What do you think people are doing in the bathrooms?
They're going to go to the bathroom
in order to regulate the the sports, they're going to have all these girls showing their genitals to some official in order to prove that they can play in that sport.
Correct. Yeah. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we plan on doing?
They're already doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not letting my daughter. I'm not. Someone's like, "F
We
off."
won't be playing
in
sports.
this. Do that. I don't sign.
Yeah, especially since I think we still have a guy who assaulted how many Olympic gymnasts?
Yeah,
still,
USA
I don't know if he's in jail yet.
Yeah. Yeah, still got that thing. And how many other countless sports we haven't found out? Like, what was it? Some of the it's also a men's team. Like, we find out like unnecessary like rectal exams that we were given to. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
let's do those hernia exams, guys. Come on, let's go. That's
all the people who didn't say
embarrassing.
anything because they didn't feel comfortable doing it until somebody is able to lock it down. Like let's say a music producer. Let's say like a music producer who was known to be a problem in the industry, and nobody said anything until somebody had filed a lawsuit and there was evidence, and now he's facing like 1,200 counts, like 120 counts cases.
Hey, it's not like you have a beloved father figure for 40 years, and some stupid comedian gets online and makes a joke and says, "Oh, I can, blah blah blah," and now he's in jail. I tell you, yeah. Harvey Weinstein got schlonged, right? You didn't see this. Okay, never mind. Trump said this literally on a radio show the other day, talking about Harvey Weinstein got schlonged and they just really did him dirty. And I'm like, excuse me?
Okay. All right. That's where you're going. It was like, what?
I said, what are you talking about?
Right. I was like, what are you talking about? Right.
I know I jumped from Cosby to Weinstein, but that Trump thing just popped into my head. I was like, how did you think that was a good thing? He has no care because nobody's ever going to call him out on anything. That's the whole point. It's like, well, I can't believe he crossed that line. Why? You're not stopping him from doing it.
Right. So what?
He do whatever he wants until you stop him. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Everything he wants until you stop him. Yep. 100%. It has just been very frustrating cannonball of crap because like I said, like out in the Midwest, you can go off and watch. I've gone and watched the roller derby girls go out there. They've gone through and had it almost blow through their entire league, going after basically getting rid of people who like, no, we are not going to let trans women in the league. Like, why not? Get the fuck out. And just like kicking them out. I was like, no, if you don't want that, then you need a step. They were like, we're going to let our sisters in. This is what's happening, and it's beautiful to watch, and hear these stories, and because they are very proud of that. They don't care, and this is what we want. This is our sport. We if something happens like that, we watch out for our own, and I'm just beautiful. And this is like a contact sport. They demanded that their trans sisters are there. It was a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah, because it's a community that respects the people in the community. That's I feel like that's the biggest element of it, is that if you don't care and you just respect them as they are, then it's not an issue.
Correct.
Right? Right? And again, the only reason most of these people are identifying as trans is because now it's easier for them to be able to come out and say it compared to what it was before when they were just, they're androgynous.
Well, here's what really makes it easier, right? So I think the reason it's really coming out more now is partially that, but partially because society has for so many years said, if you act this way, you're not a real man, or you're not a real boy, or you're not a real girl, you're a tom girl, right? So these kids are just like growing up like, I don't want to be that. I want to be who I am, and I am swishy. I like to wear a dress once in a while. What's wrong with that, right? And then so they're getting beat up, they're getting picked on, they're getting ostracized from society for so much. So the community, the psychological community said, let's help them out a little bit by letting them identify as this, because that's what their traits are. Yeah. And that's what they took the word gender away from being tied to physical sex and made it about, how you present yourself, what kind of, the stereotypical, way you are as society sees you. They label that as being female,
Mhm.
so that you can feel comfortable in your own skin.
Mhm.
And now they're making them feel crappy for that. It's just like they can't win.
Yeah, they can't win.
Because, and it's not their fault, it's the society's fault that won't let them be that. They won't let them be out of the stereotypes that they've built for them.
Mhm.
And it's like, this is the way it's always been. I'm like, have you seen our forefathers and what they used to wear? Let's go back and look at the medieval kings. Let's go back and look at these people who you place on, like, let's go to Rome. All these guys are all about Rome and shit, right? They walked around in dresses all the time. What are you talking about? They had gay sex all over the place. What is, you guys are so locked into your way you were brought up that you can't break out of it and see that somebody else may not want to live exactly like you live. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very narrow real view, and without getting any kindness or happiness there. Like, if anything, just be nice and move on. You know, I just.
Right. It's like, there's no, if some, that's, so I've had conversations with people of an older generation that didn't grow up with it because, you know, they're being around it and they don't quite fully understand the situations and stuff. And I explained to them, is like, why does it matter if they want to be called they?
Mhm.
Just call them they. That's what they want. Why be an asshole about it? There's no reason to be an asshole about it. It's if it makes them comfortable, just do it.
Yep.
It's the same thing as if somebody was like, hey, like somebody comes in and they're missing teeth, and like, you're not gonna come up and like, hey there, toothless, how you doing? You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna treat them as like, hey, I'm really sensitive about this thing. Don't talk about this thing. You just don't talk about it. It's normal human behavior. But getting upset about, hey, this person who, when you come in, present male, say, hey, I want to be called she, her. They call them she, her. Move the fuck on. Who cares?
Right, let's put something in the chat you can share if you want. I just ran across this right before the show.
Oh. Oh man, it's up there next to Robert.
But yeah, it's
nobody commented on that or got that. I think one person liked it or you liked it or something.
It was
just
like, I thought that was funny. but he's not. He's because he's it's
that's not your real name, is it? You want us to call you something else?
Right, like we give music. People call musicians by their stage names. Who cares?
For the audio listeners at home, J.K. Rowling, who strategically changed her name twice to make people believe she was a male because she didn't want to be affected by society's perceptions of the gender binary and kept using male pseudonyms even after her name was well known, is mad at who now?
Accurate. But yeah, it's just have common decency. In my opinion, why do you care? That's my response to anybody who's like, oh, those darn transgendered. Why do you care?
Yeah, why do you care?
There was actually somebody who told me the other day that the whole gender is a construct thing came from this one guy 30 years ago who lied about his studies and was actually evil person. Him and his twin got arrested and put in jail and blah, blah, blah. But everything's built off of that. I'm like, bitch, there's been trans people for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I don't know what do you think Joan of Arc was?
Yeah. Trans people for 100 years, and some of this, yeah, and there have been tons of different studies. There's tons of different ones you can go after. Have there been long studies? We're like, no, we've got our other methods. We're looking at different things now. We're gonna a whole bunch,
Right, we just slap new labels on it. There's a generation of women that exists that they just called them super butch women when they presented and acted very masculine and would now be labeled as a trans man or a trans man because they're super butch because they like shave their head and wear masculine clothes and suits and all and purposely present themselves as masculine. They were just seen as butch, especially if they were lesbians.
Yeah.
But now they would just be trans men.
But they were ostracized and picked on in schools and stuff too. So it's like I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird, Scout didn't want to wear a dress because she wanted to play with the boys and stuff. And sometimes you grow out of that as a kid. You know, you feel a certain way, then later you might feel a different way. Let them play that. Let them figure that out. They may feel like being a dinosaur that day. Who cares? Let them play. Let them figure out who they are. Let them explore a little bit.
Yep.
But it's like, oh, there's a big explosion of it now because of the agenda to make people this way. It's like nobody's making people be this way. What they're doing is allowing people to be this way. The same thing happened when we said, society, maybe it's okay to openly be gay. The first people who did that got ostracized and beat up and had riots in New York City for it. And that's why we have Pride now, is because of the Stonewall riots.
Yep.
And then when it's like society said, okay, maybe we're okay with this a little bit, a bunch of it was like people would say, all these people are now gay. They're making them gay. They're putting the stuff in the water and they're making them. It's like,
it's because we have a term for it. They're treating it as this thing that is completely different than what it used to be. Men who used to wear women's clothes were just called cross-dressers. Because even now, there are still men that identify as men that wear women's clothes, and they are cross-dressers. But some of them just took that claim name because they couldn't. There wasn't a term for them to transition into being a woman, especially if they have like a female stage name that they use all the time.
Yep.
It's existed, and then people are complaining about, oh, they're forcing this stuff down. Like, no, it's just more visible because you're on the internet more, because all these people are terminally online, constantly on looking at what's happening around the world, because everybody's now even more connected than before. It's just now you can see it because there are groups of people that are going out of their way to catalog information about it and going, here, see, this is bad, right? Look at this thing I found from bumfuck Wisconsin, that is a county full of 200 people that are all happy and kind there, but one person there is a trans woman. It's like, who cares?
One person.
Who cares?
There's a great comic panel I saw a while back, and it was a panel. It was two people. It was like a mother and their son on two different ones, right? And the one mother and the son was trying to pick up a doll, and they'd be like, don't play with that doll. Doll's not for you. You play with a boy's toys. And then the other one was playing with the doll, and he's like, oh, that's cool. You want another one? Here, we're trying this one out, and start playing. And then the next one, it was the kid wanted to wear a dress. It's like, that's not for you. You wear pants. And then the other one was like, oh yeah, sure. If you want to wear a dress, no big deal. And then it shows the last panel was that the couples were met, and the little boy in his normal boy clothes and his normal boy stuff, looking all sad and everything, looking over at the other kid who's happy because he's able to wear whatever he wants to wear and he's having fun. And the mother says, I can't believe you let your kids do that. You made them be that way. You trained them to be trans. It's like, look what you're doing to your kid. Don't you understand?
Yeah. You're just training you. Yeah.
When I was growing up, it used to be a whole thing on TV shows where, like Friends, Ross's kid was raised by two lesbian women, and he liked to play with this doll, and the whole episode was him freaking out because he's playing with the doll, and it was how stupid he was for that. That was the whole point of it, was like, you let them be who they are.
Right.
And somehow we went right back in the 1950s. Let's go.
Yep, real quick.
Right. Okay. And the thing is that there's different versions of this. Like when I was growing up, my family didn't force me to go to church because they're like, if you want to go to church, you can figure that out whenever you want to figure it out. You can do it whenever you want. I'm not going to force you to do it. And the only times I ever went was because I had a friend whose dad forced him to go every Sunday. And if we spent the night at his house on Saturday, we had to go on Sunday. And I spent the whole time either doodling on little pieces of paper with a little pencil or just fucking zoning the fuck out. Basically taking it as a fucking 3-hour nap time. But it's just like, they didn't force me to believe in any one specific thing. They've let me do whatever I wanted. And for some people, that's crazy. Why didn't you take them to church every Sunday and baptize them as soon as they're possible? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, who cares? Let them do what they want. But it's the same. It's like the same thing of like, this kid wants to play with dolls. Cool, let him play with dolls. This kid wants to program. Let him program. Give him the programming stocks. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. Now I will give Christians.
He wants He wants to light little animals on fire in the backyard. Oh, wait a minute.
That's
I
a little
will
different.
Don't go too far with
I
that.
will give Christians some grace, though. Out of a lot of different religions, they can actually take a joke about the religion most of the time. Okay, all right.
Some can.
All right, you're right. Some can.
The ones we would associate with can.
Yeah, you know. But all right, we've gone that
hard off the
man.
rail because
Super
Harry
off
was
the
dealing with something.
Right.
He was dealing with something.
I do want to get Harry's reaction to one thing before we could break. But if we want to talk about other things, we can.
Okay.
But if he wants to take a, we lost Penn Gillette.
Okay.
What? What?
You got it. It's not good news.
Wait a minute. I'm not seeing anything about.
No. Just watch the thing I sent you. It's Penn saying something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
See,
I'm
me
like,
and Harry were
not
on the
dead.
same.
Oh,
we were on the same
sorry.
wavelength.
Oh, no.
Did he
Oh my
die?
God.
Holy
No.
shit, did he just
Shit,
die?
shit,
What the fuck?
I'm on TMZ.
I'm sorry.
Boop,
I'm
everything.
sorry. I just realized that could have been taken that way.
Oh,
We
man,
were-
I'm
we
up
were
here
going
like,
at
oh
me.
my God. Why would you?
Wait,
like, Reinhold's
what?
a monster. He's like,
What?
your live
I
reaction.
apologize. That was not my intention.
Don't fucking do that to me.
Sorry.
Yeah, Paul's like, yeah, he left libertarianism. Cool.
No. It's worse than that.
That's what this producer Paul said anyway. But
He kind of said, I don't really want to call myself that anymore because all of the douchebag libertarians that are making us look bad now, that aren't really libertarians or right wing populists, but that's You're not going to watch it live. You're going to play it and then tell me what you think.
I want you to know my other screen. Oh, you mean like put it up here?
Yeah,
like share it up here
to react to it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, it's on Twitter.
It's a reaction channel now.
Hold on, it's on Twitter though. Let me open up incognito.
I know you don't want to screw up your timeline, like mine is. Oh my God.
No. It's I've perfectly crafted my timeline, so it's tech nudes and titties. All right, you guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
I opened my heart to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit filled me. And all of a sudden, I realized that everlasting life is possible by following in the ways of Jesus Christ, our Lord. I have since then dedicated my life to Jesus Christ. I have joined the church, and I will live the rest of my life and die as a Christian in service and in joy with Jesus Christ our Lord. I'm just fucking with you. I had to, just for a minute, just for a minute, just for a minute. Can you imagine how much money I would make if I could just convert to real? I don't have to convert. To convert to real. Can you imagine if I just took and threw away my atheism? If I threw away my morality and said I was religious and went out and started preaching? Can you imagine the amount of money I would make? But what good if a man gain the whole world but lose his soul? No, I'm still an atheist. I'm still doing fine.
God, he's not wrong though. The grift that would be
Russell Brand.
God, the Russell Brand grift. Oh man, he's probably sitting there like, I'm making more than I've ever made on a stupid movie.
Well, his career was over. He revitalized it by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted anything to do with them, and now he's like, "Oh, look at this!" And now all the right wing MAGA people are like buying all this stuff who hated him with a passion before.
Yep.
But all you had to do is pretend that he is now Jesus-y. After all the Buddhism and atheism and all that stuff he preached for decades. No, now he's Christian. He's good.
God, speaking of, I had to like mute
We
my
believe you.
friend, like who's just like born again new Christian. It's just like, why are we talking to me? It's like, no. Born again or new Christians, you get a 2-year snooze. You need to calm the F down.
I will attest to that because I did that
Mm-hmm.
when I got into college, and I got into a really bad space, and I got in with these people, and they were all Christianese and stuff.
Mhm.
So I had my whole turnaround and became a new Christian, whatever. And I was scaring people, and my brother wouldn't talk to me no more because I wouldn't stop talking about it. It was like like shut the fuck up.
He's ready.
Let me convince Vince. Vince, it's like finding a really good anime fanfic. Okay, and it's so good though. It's so good.
Everybody see this.
So
You gotta
here's the
listen.
thing. Here's the thing. The job it shut down when I was trying to train somebody.
Mhm.
I think I got a born again Christian to quit
Mm.
when I was training them because they were talking about Christianity, and I was like, "Where?" They go, "Where do you get your morality system?" The golden rule. And did you get that from God? No, I just think people should be treated the same way they should be. And it like kind of broke his brain because he kind of tried to like force my opinion into his religious belief.
Just
And when I was like, no, he has nothing to do with it, and he just couldn't deal with it, and he just didn't show up to work again.
I don't need.
if you want to go that next step, just say, where do you get morality? Oh, you mean that you're only moral because you're afraid that you might spend eternity in a lake of fire? So if it wasn't for that threat, you would be a raving lunatic psychopath. That sucks for you, man.
Apparently,
I have empathy. I don't know about you. I can on my own care about people without having to be told to.
Yeah,
or threatened to.
Yeah, which is Anyways,
hey, how are these animators doing?
Off the this episode.
I made it happen. You had something you need to get off your chest, Harry. And
I didn't mean to. I was just so
I told you let me off the chain for just a little bit. I'll go hard.
Harry was so incensed.
No, man, I've just been upset, and I've just been trying to quietly just take it. And I'm just done. I'm
just going to take the clip, that first part of the show, and I'm going to put it on as first episode of Reinhold Rants, and we're just going to go with that. I'm just going to make those.
Yeah, just do that. Just do that. Reinhold Rants and do some shorts.
Shorts. I should just be doing shorts as Reinhold. What am I thinking? Instead of trying to do like a 40-minute, a half-hour freaking podcast with this Reinhold Rants thing, I should just make them 5-minute shorts, 3-minute shorts, TikToks, everything. I'm an idiot.
You should get a VTuber TikTok. You should go and get a rhinoceros VTuber model on TikTok. Dude, you know
the Tiki Talkies.
I'm just saying, you would be big if it was just some rhinoceros ranting on TikTok.
The producer Paul, he's like, I tuned in for the animation segment, didn't realize it was Sunday for the atheist experiment.
Say it with me, brothers.
I know, yeah. Sometimes, when some Christians just talk to me, I just kind of I leave. I try. They want to ask me questions, and it's just like, I don't want to. I'm happy that you're happy. Just leave it at that. I'm glad that works for you, and I'm glad you're happy.
Can you picture an 18, 19-year-old me walking around with a study Bible with all tabbed out and everything, and trying to save people on the Chicago lake shore? Going up to people who are out there at night at 2 a.m. and trying to save them from their heathen ways. Oh man.
Yeah.
I can't get it out of my mind. Please
thing that made me lose
away.
my face was those defending one of those people against an atheist and beating down the atheist's argument, but the other Christian made me lose my face. Oh man, that was rough. It was like, wait a minute.
Okay.
Anyway,
here's a question.
Okay.
the animator thing that you want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
Do you need more than 10 minutes for it? Do you want more than 10 minutes for it? Do we want to move it to next week, and then I can talk about review bombing?
It's up to you guys. If you want to just shift it over to next week, that's fine.
Yeah,
We'll
you
just
guys
change
might
the episode on the
Which I think you probably.
Yeah, I got like Spangle only like puts their episodes out once a month anyway, so I can change the
It'll just click to the next episode. We should put that as a spoiler
At the
point
beginning,
in the
it's like,
beginning.
hey, we were
when you
gonna
upload
talk
it,
about
just put a
this,
little,
but
hey,
things
this
just
is
got
we kind
a
of got
little
off the
different.
rails a little
We
bit,
got a little
so
different.
just kind of
We'll talk about that later.
go to the next. Go to the next. You're fine.
Yeah, I'll
It's
change
we love you still. Go ahead and switch.
Mm.
No. But have you seen Fallout? Did you ever watch the end of Fallout, or did you get stuck?
I'm stuck because I decided to watch it with my beautiful, lovely wife, whose birthday is tomorrow, and I love her very much.
Okay. Have you tried Agatha yet?
I have not watched Agatha.
Okay. Well, you know, Agatha got review bombed.
For me.
Why isn't it for you?
It's not for me.
It's a good show. It's very fun.
Not for me.
You say so.
I've
I think it's great storytelling. And the
I've
last episode
seen-
is so good. It was so well acted. The acting in this thing is killing it.
It's not
Like,
for me.
They are killing it with the acting.
I watched one review, and I trust this reviewer, and they said probably isn't for certain groups of people, but they enjoyed it and they explained it, and I was like, you know what, I'll agree with that. I'm fine. I'm not gonna watch
What group of people isn't it for? I'm just curious.
I listened to an Angry Joe review of it. I love Angry Joe. I love his reviews. He's usually spot on. You can't tell me like Angry Joe uses that woke word, stuff like that, because he doesn't. He doesn't do that.
No,
You just hate him
almost
because of his
killed Dirty Bomb.
Because
It's one review.
He
10 years
lied
ago.
about the stupid game and caused people not to play it. He literally just lied about it.
grudges. Okay,
Ryan Holt
grudges.
just has his dwarf book of grudges.
Yeah, book of Reynolds book of grudges.
I've seen like the first 4 episodes of Reinhold, and there's a lot of storytelling things that make no sense in the narrative. Like, why do all these witches who openly hate Agatha and knows that they should never trust her and she's a terrible person, and they all say no to her, still show up and join her party, even though they all specifically say they don't want to be there?
Because of the reasons you have to watch the show. It unfolds into this beautiful tale. Like the review of who Teen is and how that happens is so well done. And then the other ones are I can't explain it because I know it's coming up in the next couple episodes. I know how it starts to kind of wrap together and why they do the things that they do. Lilia, for a specific example, you find out in the last episode why she was actually involved in the whole thing to begin with, but she doesn't remember it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That all kind of plays into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with the MCU. Hawkeye broke me. I'm out. And I was out.
This isn't that at all.
I don't care. Hawkeye broke me. I'm
such
out.
good.
I disagree.
Is the acting good?
Yeah, the acting is fine, but I enjoyed.
It's not fine. It's killing it.
I enjoyed some of the actors and some of their interactions together, but there are other times where things logically don't make sense from a storytelling perspective that takes me completely out of it. So the narrative doesn't matter. Like, the acting can be amazing, but the story doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not going to enjoy it.
Maybe we should watch a couple episodes together.
I just have to ask Reinhold, how could a sous vide machine boil an entire sink of water in 4 seconds?
It just had to heat it up. It didn't have to boil it.
It takes.
Did she say boiling water?
Yes. A, she said it has to boil.
Or she said, how do I heat it up?
And B, the sous vide machine takes 6 hours to heat up food. So it doesn't make sense, Reinhold.
So we're going to be that nitpicky on this thing, right? It's a magical trial where the empty glass of wine refills itself, and you're worried about the sous vide machine not being competent enough.
Reinhold, not just that.
Really? Is that what we're doing?
Okay, you could say that's a nitpick or whatever, but then there's things like the fact that all these people are willing to. Spoiler warning here. Just drop the spoiler one at the bottom.
No one's watching this show. Shut up.
She's
They're
going
willing
to
to
be in
let-
prison to go to jail.
They willingly let a person die because they were so selfish they forgot that she existed. And then Agatha
They're
made a joke about her
hundreds-of-year-old
being
wishes.
dead.
They're like 400 or
She
500-year-old
makes a
wishes.
joke about her being dead, even though all the characters were showing positive feelings to her throughout the show, except for Agatha, who because they don't even call her by her real name. Agatha keeps calling her by her.
Yes, that was a joke.
I know, but that's
It's the
issue.
self-centeredness of the character. She's not a nice person.
Right.
But there's reasons why she's not, and she's going through a growth cycle. If you watch the path, it's like just because the first episode of Breaking Bad, he's not a nice person. Nobody likes him, right? But you still follow him because the show grows through. He goes through arcs, and you got to let those arcs play out.
From the 4 episodes I've watched, I have no sympathy for Agatha. All of these characters, I could tell exactly who Teen was based on this person's connection to the other characters and my knowledge of the Marvel Universe because, nerd stuff, obvious.
Yeah.
For me, that's
stuff.
obvious. Like, oh, this makes sense,
right.
Obvious.
Right, but you don't know how they take the varying backgrounds of that character and how they've made it be an actually how they made it to fit into this universe in a very good way. Like this last episode, they go into the whole detail with a great flashback thing that is, I was on the edge of my seat. It was a great episode that explained everything, and you're like, okay, it's not how it was in the books.
I mean, that's fine.
But I like this explanation. I like how they've done it here.
But from what I've watched so far, I have not enjoyed it. They've made characters like the potion, like the person whose specialty is potions, Jen.
Yeah.
She is so incompetent with her potions that realizing that I need these things. And instead of telling them, hey, we're all dying, there is a ticking clock for me to be dead, I'm going to be an asshole about the things I want by going, well, it needs to be this specific thing. And it's like, you guys don't know what that is? Well, it's obviously this. Like, you're going to die.
Happen.
Yes, it did. She's like, which was
no, it
didn't.
didn't.
She needs
that happened.
The 2,000-year-old living organism that is still alive. And they were like, what are you talking about? She's like, it's zooplankton, duh. And they're like, where do you find zooplankton? Obviously, it's this. Like, why didn't she just tell them what she needed when they're going to die?
All right, first off, yeah, that happened because this man ranted at me.
Yes,
because I had no interest of watching this show because of the Angry Joe review. And
yes, I did rant.
He complained about this scene. Fine, we're not watching it. Okay, this scene, just the scene,
episode
out
is
of concept, just the scene. And the other thing is, it's controversial. Actually, Walter White is a great person in episode 1. His arc is one of becoming the villain.
There's a point. There's a point there.
But still, it's a character arc. But you don't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But my whole point is that the whole third episode turned me off so much of the show, and that the 4th episode did not want to push me to keep watching. Right. The concept of having a bunch of women go into a room and they're like, hey, here's this bottle of alcohol that all of these hundreds of year old witches who know that this is a trial for being a witch. No one takes 30 seconds to see if it's poison.
What does it matter if it is? They have to go through the process. They know they have to do it for the trial.
But if they know it's poison, then they can already start doing stuff to gather what they need to solve the problem.
But they don't know what the poison is.
Right. Then why if you have a riddle that says, look at this bottle of wine, that's a generic riddle for a bottle of wine. You are hundreds of years old. And it's like, this is part of the trial. Why wouldn't not a single one of them try to investigate the bottle before they give it to the human who doesn't have witch powers to let her drink the wine?
Because they didn't know it was that trial. They didn't know it was a poison trial. First of all. Second of all, they don't know what kind of poison it is. It could have been any thousands of different poisons. They don't know which one it is. If it's going to even be poison, it could have been something else. You don't know what the trials are going to be.
Exactly.
What are
And
you gonna do?
so
They're gonna get chem kit out and they're gonna test it or
you
something?
have a
How do you know?
person whose specialty is potions and
Yes.
spell. So this is a concoction that is a potion. So she should at least look at it, because you
And
have
do
all
what?
these people. Even if it's, hey, we don't know what this is, have one person drink it and see what happens from there, and then we can
Which is
gauge
exactly what they
happens.
did.
No, they all drank it except for Agatha, who threw it away, and then they
She
forced
drank
Agatha
it first,
to
and
drink
she was
it.
the canary in the coal mine. You remember that?
The human ones.
Sharon
yes.
was the the
Yes.
canary in the coal mine.
What they
And
all
no,
drank
and
it with her.
she's
She
also
drank the
part
most.
witch. You don't know this yet, but okay. But
Yeah. She
Sharon
drank
is
the most.
they're not.
All right.
It's hard. There's more going on than what you're focusing on. Really, there's a lot more going on there.
All right. So they actually do say, "How do we bring the sink to boil?"
They say boil.
Just looked it up
Hey, I'm just saying.
because I had to watch this awful scene.
Because like then there's stuff like, okay, they need the chemicals inside of the makeup or whatever that's in the containers, and they throw the whole metal containers that are laced with other chemicals that should easily throw off the entire potion and just dump it in there on top of everything else.
It's called witchcraft.
Then why
But-
did it have to
no,
be
no,
in an
that's all
order?
they
It had to
need.
be they had she said it's a very specific thing that things need to be entered in a very specific
Yes.
way in a very specific amount, but we only need 3 drops of this, but you're okay with throwing entire metal stained chemically containers into your potion. That should fuck up the potion.
Paper.
So
God
that's
knows what's
so
on it.
It should
like
fuck up the potion.
care. I mean, I'm just seriously. I
Right,
thought it was
right.
just. It's for the fun of it. I mean, that was funny.
Right.
The whole point that she was selling the natural stuff that didn't have any petroleum products in it, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. Okay, they could have opened it up and put
right.
but it's still like funny the way they did it.
But see that's the difference between you and like you're like, oh, this is funny. It's okay. For me, it's like, this doesn't make sense. Why are they doing this? Because for me,
You're
that's where
looking for
my
logic
perspective comes in.
in a
Yes.
magical show.
But if you don't use any logic, then the show doesn't have a point, because there has to be a logical
Wasn't
through
this
line.
the mother effer when we was going through our 3x3s? It was talking about, I like hard magic systems.
I do like hard magic
Wasn't
systems.
this effort?
Like,
It doesn't mean I don't watch the
hard
ones that aren't. I
magic
said I
systems.
like those.
Right.
That's what I'm just saying.
Because-
It's not like I will say, oh,
That's why I like.
I mean,
this one, 'cause
like
it's
I can
magic.
watch Cowboy Bebop and say, oh, this doesn't make sense in space. This is what happened. I watch Firefly, and they have the episode where they open it up and the fire goes out. Right? That's not how it would work in real life.
Right.
But it's for the show. I get it. It's okay.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the you're saying that it's like, well, it's magic, so the logic shouldn't matter. But then there is definitely logic where you need specific things for the potion. She specifies that you only need specific things for these potions, and then they throw an unmitigated element into the potion, which
Actually
should
sounds
fuck
like
up the potion.
Sounds like Reinhold quote there. Scholarship Plus goes, even magic needs logic to it, or it's bumblefuck fantasy. Yeah, sounds like Reinhold
But
quote
like that-
when
But
we were talking about magic
they put the ingredient in. It's like such a it's kind of like the Firefly thing I was just talking about. Yeah, it would happen. The fire would get put out in a way, but it wouldn't seep out that fast. It'd be much slower, and it wouldn't happen the way it did. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I don't care enough to take away from the great story that's being told because this minor thing that I saw didn't fit right in my mind. It's just
I will give it to Reinhold. Like Vincent, if this was Mage the Ascension, you would let that go, and with the sous vide machine, it would be coincidental magic.
Right, but they didn't establish that in universes they way like.
Oh yeah,
if you're adding Maze the Ascension logic into it, that's completely different. They don't establish this level of logic. But
if we had 2 hours an episode, we could go into all of that.
Right, but here's
you want to drink that damn wine.
Right. Here's my point: is like you're at a point like the 3rd episode really threw me out of it because it felt there's very much that they were just it made the characters stupid for no reason. Because you have this potion expert who forgot a major element of this potion until the very last moment for
But you know what?
dramatic
But
effect. But
have you understood why though? It's a potion she never made, which she says in there. She says never made this potion, and she hasn't been doing that work for at least a century after she got bound. And that's when Agatha tells her, I left you alone because of you were doing the good work at the time. Go be that witch again. So it jogged her into her thought. She was spiraling out of control and anxiety because of all the stuff that she had lost for so long. It was a great personal growth moment. And you're like, well, she forgot a thing.
But personal growth, I totally understand where you're coming from that. But for me, there's too many logical leaps for this person to be a potions expert and be put in a situation where she cannot properly communicate what is needed for a potion, even if she's never made it before, even though she knows what the ingredients are, and she knows what the replacements of the ingredients are, because she already knows them off the top of her head, but she's unwilling to properly communicate with these people, even if she's anxious, even if she's crazy, or not crazy, even if she's anxious,
do you know the witches?
Yes.
So you know that they have all these ingredients that are stupid ingredients that actually have real terms for them, right?
Of course.
But they love to still use those terms. They will always use those terms. It's kind of their thing. They were making a joke about that. It was funny, like, oh, you just mean honey. Like when they said something about the UK, the saliva eucacia thing or whatever, and Teen goes, oh, that's just honey, isn't it? And they look at him like, yeah, that's what it is. They know what it is, right? So I mean, it's just like it's a whole thing that they do that they were making a joke of.
See,
like a self-ribbing. It wasn't like it being witches are stupid. It was just witches. This is funny, the things that they do.
I don't get the joke. So
yeah, like for me, that wasn't a funny joke that way. It was more of that. Like, yes, you can go. I need Eye of Newt because it's one of the things that she needed. That makes sense. That's witch stuff. And they were like,
mustard seed, yeah.
Then she says something that's elaborate, and then when she explains it, she begins to explain it with something they also don't understand. As an expert in a field, you should be able to communicate what your needs, especially.
Yeah, did you see her going through it in her mind? Did you see her going through her mind, going, okay, what could that be today? She didn't think about it, what it was as an ingredient today. She didn't know, oh, it's petroleum. She would have just said petroleum. She was like, it's plankton. It's in it's in this. It's probably this. That's what she was going through that in her mind.
Diddy's got
at the time.
But
yeah, I said it.
What'd you say, Harry?
I said Diddy's got all the zooplankton. Fuels him.
I mean, did you think it was? Did it throw you out when they were making a joke about the being in the oven? The Hansel and Gretel joke, or did you not catch that?
That makes it. It's an oven. It's whatever. It's that's the thing that doesn't throw me out. Like, the jokes are fine. My issue is that you are in a life and death situation, and they're going out of their
There's no life and death situation. They're in a life and death situation.
30 minutes. You have 30 minutes.
They had to get the potion to Sharon in 10 seconds, and they're handing it off one by one by one. That was stupid. I understand, but it still doesn't take away from me the good part of the show. That's actually very good.
Hi, Christy. Yeah, it's Monday. We're sitting there at the tail end episode. We went completely off the rails. Really talking. We want to talk about some other stuff. Now we're at the end bit of it. We're listening to
We're still not talking
about Agatha all along.
But I wanted to bring up why I went down this road. Why I went down this road was because there are several times in the past 2 years that I've noticed where a show comes out and there are people, Doctor Who is another one, where there are people who are review bombing the show, who haven't seen it, who are just like, oh, this is the stupidest thing ever, blah, 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 blah. They bring down the reviews on it on like Rotten Tomatoes. It eventually comes back up because they can't keep it up past the actual people who like it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find joy and happiness in it failing. That's the part that gets me. There's somebody I had an argument with the other day talking about how they're going to cancel Doctor Who because Chidi's he's such a horrible character. He's a horrible doctor. Blah blah blah. I'm like, first of all, he's a great doctor, but never mind. Oh, the reviews are terrible. They're not going to renew it. It's going to get canceled. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not going to happen. Just chill out. Oh no, it's going to be great because then they'll learn that they can't do this stuff anymore. I'm like, what? Have a gay guy play a character that you like? Is that what the problem is? And it's the same thing with this one. They didn't like this show because teen is homosexual. Ooh, can't have that. So they want to kill the show. They're trying to like convince everybody that this is terrible, so they won't go check it out. They're trying to convince everybody not to give it a stew because they don't like the fact that, oh my god, there was a gay character in it. Even though it's like they're I can't believe they just keep making these characters gay. I'm like, have you read the comic book? Because the character has been gay for
already gay.
years.
But like,
yeah.
I
know that's not why you don't like it. I get you like it for different reasons.
There's a fine line between review bombing and people who don't like certain things, because there are some shows that come out that are not good. They get a bunch of negative reviews, and that's called review bombing when it's just people don't like the thing.
Right, and that's what happened here. Though they were like saying this is worse than Acolyte. You saw Acolyte. Do you think this is worse than Acolyte?
No, but Acolyte was a special level of stupid.
That's what I'm saying. They're saying this has worse ratings than Acolyte. This is horrible. This is going to get canceled. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. They finally done it. It's just like, and then if you watch what happened to Rotten Tomatoes, they dropped it down to like a 60. And then at this point, it's back up in the 80 range because people actually like the show. There's a lot of people who love the show. And it's like number 8 on the Nielsen Origins. Right, the first 2 episodes, because Nielsen comes out so late after, the first 2 episodes come out, and it's like number 8 in views on the Origin side. And it's like, it's a successful show. It's doing well. People love it. People like the character. The acting in it is just killing it, especially this last episode, just top notch. And you guys are just there's just so many people who just want to hate on things so much. They want to, it's like, okay, you don't have to like it. I appreciate that. You can go leave a review if you don't like it and give your reasons why. That's fine. But that's not what's happening. These guys are review bombing it because they heard there's a gay character in it. That's it. And how dare Marvel do that? Disney, Marvel, they're just trying to indoctrinate our kids. Boom. And they go and they try to kill the show.
Freaking Paul. We'll get back. Producer Paul, we'll get back to the canceling stuff next week because that connects to what I was going to talk about. But like again, I think there's a
Nostalgia.
line.
You weren't out there on social media on every single post that talked about Halo, going, "I hope this thing dies a horrible death. You people are so stupid for watching it." Blah 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 blah. On every single comment, because you had more to do with your life than that. You could say this show sucks, and I hope they don't make any more that bad because of that reason. But it wasn't because the guy was gay. You know, it wasn't your main goal in life to sit on social media and just do this all the time.
Like, again, I feel like the people who are giving unvalid criticisms and doing it that way, I get the anger and the negative elements of it. However, the other side of that coin are the people who say that's what it is when it's just a negative review. A lot of people negatively reviewed our Acolyte, and people were saying, "Oh, it's because the lesbians in it. They don't like gay people. That's why this is, because that before the show came out, it says it's going to be the gayest Star Wars ever. Everybody's not going to like it because it's gay." And then when you watch the show is just bad. It has nothing to do with the sexual orientation of anybody in the show.
But that comes out when Acolyte doesn't get renewed and gets canceled right away because it drops in ratings so bad and nobody wants to watch it. It bears out. But what I'm saying is, like, Agatha, when the review bombing, they get kind of petered out. Now we're back up to 85% on Rotten Tomatoes because people do like the show. And it bears out. It overcame the review bombing and has actually gone up into a very high range. And the actual ratings are very good for it.
Well, that might also be the case. I wouldn't use Rotten Tomatoes as a level to judge it because it's also been seen that with a lot of the things specifically connected to Disney on Rotten Tomatoes, they delete a bunch of negative reviews to bring the score up. The Star Wars sequel trilogy, like the newer movies, are like still at like 70-80%, even though a large portion of the fan base hates one or the other. Because some of them, like, some hate both, but some like one, like the Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi, and it's one or the other. But both those movies have roughly like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, even though they're still openly talked about in a negative light and hated by a lot of the fan base. So I wouldn't use Rotten Tomatoes as the leveling for it, because there's a lot of issues with them going through and specifically getting rid of negative reviews, valid or invalid.
Is there any case of the reverse effect of review bombing, like extroverted
Let me-
review up?
let me
on
tell
Positive
you-
review bombing.
Let me
Positive,
tell
like,
you about
hey.
a little series called Interspecies Reviewers.
Oh no!
So
I opened the door.
So there are several times where there have been positive review bombing for things that don't make sense. One of the easiest ones to see is if you go to Metacritic for the game Balan Wonderworld. Mind you, Balan Wonderworld is an action platformer collectathon game.
Okay.
With all the face buttons do the same thing.
What?
And your character gets a costume, and once you get that costume, you're locked into whatever ability that costume has. Meaning, if you have the costume that shoots fireballs, you can no longer jump.
Okay.
Or you have the costume that jumps, you can no longer attack. This is a real game that happened. But if you look in the Metacritic scores, there's a lot of people didn't like it when it came out, and they still don't like it. There's a lot of positive reviews. If you especially look at the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X ones, there's like 100 more positive reviews than negative reviews of people who came in and just like, it will be funny. Let's just positive review bomb this game that is arguably a terrible game, which they haven't fixed in any way, shape, and form.
Hugo Wingo, these some fake names. This game,
Right?
was
Exactly.
really
If you look through them, all these names though are like fake names or like a bunch of random spurts. So that does exist. And then the other one I was talking about is that there was an anime that was licensed by Crunchyroll for a dub called Interspecies Reviewers, which is the concept is rating the
Taste?
bedroom prowess
Oh,
of different fictional races and species.
the opposite of Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah. And Crunchyroll, because people were upset about it, pulled it off of the streaming sites and canceled the dub. So a YouTuber named Nux Taku got all of his fan base together and was ranked number 2 on IMDb as in the anime category with the highest, with like a 9.7 rating. Where they reverse review bombed it because they thought them censoring the show upset them so much they said, "Fuck you guys, this show gets signal boosted." So yes, there are the opposite, but those don't get reported on nearly as much because people aren't looking for those as much.
Okay.
Because like it's way easier to reverse review bomb in the positive direction for something that is like a 5 than it is to negatively review something that's like a 7. So to move something from 7 down to 5, a lot of people will look at it. But if you move a 5 up to 7, people are going to be like, "Oh, just more people just turned out they seem like they liked it." It's a lot. So if you're looking at it, if you're looking for it, some of it can be there, but a lot of people don't talk about it because it doesn't get the viral looking at of this thing that should be successful. It's not successful because people didn't like it for XYZ reason. Some of it valid, some of it not valid. Sometimes it's just stupid reasons for whatever reason. It got negative reviewed, and then that gets off hard focused on, and then the opposite happens where people come back in to where all the negative reviews are and go, you guys reviewed it negatively because you're bad people. Here's a positive review, even against valid criticism. So they both exist.
Neat. But from hearing Reinhold talk about it, I think Angry Joe is right. The show is not for me. Hawkeye broke me, kicked me out of the MCU. I'm fine. I don't want to watch any of their shows. I'll just watch standalone movies that look really cool, and I'm completely fine beating out. It feels great. I love every minute of it. You should join me out here. Anime is amazing.
I just like listening to the anime people talking about this isn't realistic. I'm like, okay, sorry.
What do you mean? Oh, the adding logic to things. No, anime have their own internal logics as well, and when things don't follow their internal logic, I get upset.
Yeah.
Literally, this is no joke. There's a
but you don't stop watching. It doesn't take you out of it, right? I mean, like
it does. Yeah,
if you like
this man's the king of stop watching it.
Yeah, Harry knows.
Okay.
I will stop.
Okay.
I will stop. I am one of those people. There is one show that I like that I will harp on to no end, to the annoyance of producer Paul, where these characters are idle zombies and they get hit by lightning and then their voices become electronified instead of them dying. And that episode pissed me off, and I will die on that hill where that made no logical sense, and them doing that pisses me off to this day. So in world continuity matters to me as a person. So because if it doesn't make sense in the universe, I don't like it. So yeah, for me personally, yeah, if the logic is inconsistent in universe, I will complain.
Yeah.
Producer Paul knows I will complain to him about it. Unless the series is specifically has no continuity, like my dear friend Nokotan, where everything is an absurdist comedy where just random shit happens. And they have a fucking episode where they just put in a rechanged version of Eye of the Tiger using deer lyrics. I can accept that that's what this show is. But
must have hated Archer.
Archer
I loved Archer.
Archer is funny, but there are times where they break their internal logic, and I don't like that sometimes. But that's how I am when it comes to logic and series.
Yeah, sometimes it's like it's jarring. It's like, yeah. But
all I know is in this show,
4 seasons, you just gotta let it keep going.
I haven't seen this good acting in a Marvel show since Loki, and I think it tops Loki in acting chops. Because Catherine Hahn is not only so great, but she elevates everybody else around her.
I didn't watch Loki
to such great levels. Patti LuPone is just killing it. So
I didn't watch Loki.
I didn't watch Loki.
Yeah. Hey.
I didn't watch Loki. What? I told you what broke me. I wanted a Hawkeye Christmas movie. I wanted. I wanted spy Hawkeye movie, Hawkeye Christmas. It was going to be great, and I didn't get that. I got a Kate Bishop show. So fuck you.
Did you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special?
No. Nope. I don't. I want a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I wanted a Hawkeye Christmas special. I was hoping
you're letting your trauma prevent you from enjoying other things.
I was hoping for like planes, trains, and automobiles with Hawkeye. Okay, you know what I got? Kate Bishop. Okay,
who can immediately do what Hawkeye can do after training for 30 years. She just automatically just does it, right? Is that what we're saying?
No, I just don't want Kate Bishop.
He was there for Hawkeye. He was there for Hawkeye.
I don't care.
The only thing that Kate Bishop did that bothered me is how easily she beat the Kingpin.
Oh yeah, that made no sense. That was some bullshit.
But
put
that's
some dice down. I want to see
there.
that. I've got Marvel hero clicks right there. That makes no fucking sense. how many hit points the Kingpin has? Fuck off. Fuck off.
It's like Daredevil and the Punisher and Hawkeye Kid couldn't beat him, but Kate Bishop could, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I didn't watch Hawkeye, so I can't tell you. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and she just walked
maybe
away.
that's why I like
Landscape.
these shows. Is because
Now-
I didn't get traumatized by Hawkeye.
If like broke her arm, like she'd just be out there, just, Netflix bleeding, limping, I probably would have accepted it because it but it felt like, but that moment, that scene just went like they might as well went animated because it was a freaking cartoon I was watching, but here no there, it wasn't for me. So I don't need to watch it anymore because I didn't watch WandaVision either. Okay, didn't watch WandaVision. I have no idea what happened to WandaVision.
Well, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you don't want to watch Agatha because
I have no idea what's going on.
It's technically a sequel without Wanda in it.
I heard it was good.
Bitch is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, WandaVision's excellent.
Didn't care about the characters, so didn't care.
So good. I didn't care about the characters either, but I loved the show because it was so well done.
Yep. Didn't.
The trauma that was created and what people
they'll never know.
Eat it up. Psychological trauma. So good.
Was it watch Steins Gate? You talk to me about psychological trauma. When you watch some Steins Gate, you tell me about trauma. That looked like
no.
you want trauma.
No.
You should have you should have watched WandaVision so that you could have had the same rug pulled out from underneath you and pulled out from everybody else, and then you would have been not watching. You wouldn't have watched Hawkeye because you would have been so traumatized by what happened with Quicksilver in that show.
Would have doubt that. Doubt that a lot
because they showed Evan Peters as Quicksilver, Wanda's brother.
Yeah.
And everybody was just like, they're bringing the Fox and the MCU together, and Evan Peters is going to be the Quicksilver. And it turned out to be a big fucking screw you.
A big F you for no reason.
Yeah,
it was just some actor named Boner. It was like Ralph Boner was his name.
Yeah.
Which yeah.
It was great.
We're going to subvert your expectations. Thanks. I don't know what this is.
It was
for.
still hilarious. I still
know
love
what that
it.
was for. You could have gave me that and I could have bought some stuff into it, but you subverted my expectation to make a joke at my expense. And now you want me to buy more of your product. Why don't you go fuck yourself?
And what's funny is that they actually took that rug pull, and I watched reactors who are still bitter about it. And they actually in the last episode brought that character back and made a full reversal on everybody's like, okay, I get it. They're like, okay, we're good now.
Oh, so what you're saying is that they gave the fans the middle finger, but then they go, oh, they didn't like that we gave them the middle finger. Let's fix it.
Let's fix that.
That's what it sounds like. They made a problem that they had to solve because they made it.
Right, they made it. They made the problem.
Yeah. It's the thing is that I thought it was a funny nod, but people got so into it, like they were so into like, oh, Mephisto is going to be in this, and it's like it wasn't even there. It wasn't in anything, and everybody's like, when's Mephisto coming? When's Mephisto? It's like, no, he's not in the show, and then they were all upset about that. It's like, so in this and Agatha all along, they actually name drop him, but it's like people had these expectations going in. It was not what they were hoping for, and I think they took themselves out of it, in my opinion. By doing that,
I would come back and watch It Was Doom all along show or movie. Okay,
I'm telling you, if they made a Doom TV show, was just
if
how
you have
Doom set up everything that happened in the MCU, I'm in. I'm in with Doom.
Since you didn't watch WandaVision, you don't get the Agatha all along and what that means, because that was like the pinnacle moment in that show where it turned everything on its head. It was so good.
But it'd be better if it was Doom all along. Anyways, it's been better if it was Doom all along.
The playing with the different eras of TV tropes was so well done in that show. Just for that alone, I think people should watch it, but that's just, Anyway, I'll just jump off here and play some Concord. I guess it's coming back, so I'm gonna get ready for that.
Like, as much as money they spent on it, they need that game to come back.
They have to make it
They
come
need
back.
that game to
They've
come
been
back.
making updates. It looks like they're going to try and pop it back out in the store
Yeah,
after they fix it.
You know, maybe they'll talk to High Res, and that'll be Paladins too. They'll just port the characters over. Like, hey,
That's
listen,
terrible.
we can fix your game. Just put our stuff on top of your stuff.
Return to Dirty Bomb.
You have the Horny. Yes, leave the Horny. Leave the Horny. Trust me, the male gaze will buy skins, which will line your pockets.
Oh, they had to pull a emote out of the Fortnite store in the latest update.
Because Miss Incredible.
No, there was somebody's. It was some character's emote make a coffee or something like that, and they created one that was sped up and put it in the store and sold it.
Mhm.
And people were like, "This is worse than the free one's better than this one. Why are you doing this? Why are you charging for this one or whatever?" And it was such a big stink they ended up pulling it. Yeah.
I don't know. Play the Fortnite.
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that the game I play, they added a new character in where they gave her explicit ass jiggle when she walks for no reason, just for the male gaze, for them to spend more money on their game because Genshin, because Zenless knows who their fan base is.
When you say male gaze, you're talking GAZE, right?
Yes.
Yeah, GAYZS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
there's probably
some male gaze.
There is a cat cop fanboy in the game, so it can go for the male gaze as well.
All right, there are some nice looking dudes in that one there, and yeah, and some long bacon fans, but also like
yeah, that's true.
If you're into long bacon,
that's also true.
Anyways, this episode got very long in the truth. We got way off the wheels, and it's completely 100% Brian Hold's fault. He was on the copium train, and we just kind of like just let him take us right off the cliff. And we shouted at him all the way down to the ravine.
2 episodes of Reinhold rants to go up, so thanks for that. I can cut those up, and
I should talk to Spangle if you get your access code here in StreamYard. You can actually easily make shorts from this thing inside of StreamYard, and it'll publish it to your YouTube too.
Well, I streamed this to my Twitch and YouTube today. So
yeah, I'm just saying, like inside of StreamYard, there's like a bit for it. You can do it real quick. I just don't do it because I don't feel like doing shorts. Maybe I should make one just to show Ryan what I'm talking about. Anyways, thanks to everyone. If you made it this far in the episode, you're a true fan, especially if you got through all that crap at the beginning of it. Thank you. You could have listened to anything else in the world, but decided to listen to this. Thank you. This is a live podcast. We record at 9 p.m. It's getting ready. The time's getting ready to change by the time this thing come out. But 9 p.m.
Still be 9
daylight time on Mondays. So come hang out with us live. Talk to us. Communicate with us. We'll talk about different topics. It's gonna be fun. Come hang out and chat with us. But to the 300 plus of you guys who download this every week, or some of you guys monthly, because Dear Leader dumps all of our episodes out of once, and you guys just pick them up as a pack. So I thank you guys for still waiting on it and yelling at him to wait for these episodes. So so I appreciate you guys doing that. And come watch us live at twitch.tv/wearelibertarians, and also on youtube.com/we are libertarians. Thank you. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.